In this video, I'm going to work through some more difficult exponent equation questions that have been requested from some students. So the first is question 110, which you can see in front of you, where we have a more difficult division here with exponents that's equal to 243, which is also quite a large number, which can be difficult without a calculator. So what I'm going to do first is simplify the left-hand side of this equation, and then we'll try and solve it. So to remember that when we are simplifying something like this with division, our rules from before, when we have, for example, x to the power of 6 over x squared, when we have the same base, which in this case is x, all we're doing is just subtracting those powers. So this is the same as x, 6 minus 2, which is x to the power of 4. So while we have a base that we don't know over here, the rules apply when we do know what our base is. So what we can do to simplify the left-hand side now is simply write it out as 3, and then we just subtract our powers. So that will be 3m minus. Now it's really important here that we're using brackets for our second power, because I need to make sure that I'm subtracting all of that second power. If I don't use brackets, then my answer would actually, this part here would become 2m plus 1, which is wrong. If I do use brackets, then you'll see on my next line, remember that this is still equal to 243, you'll see on my next line here that this will become 3 to the power of 3m minus m, but I'm still subtracting that plus 1, so that's minus 1, which will give me a very different answer. That's still equal to 243. I'm going to continue the problem over here. This becomes 3 to the power of 2m minus 1. Now at this point you need to know your powers of 3. You might recall from our previous video that 3 to the power of 4 was equal to 81. And so even without a calculator, you can probably estimate that if I multiply that by 3 again, I'm going to get somewhere around 240. So 3 to the power of 5, so one more multiplication by 3, will probably give us 243. And in fact, it does. So sometimes it's just a matter of estimation, knowing that our solutions are always going to be whole numbers. Okay, so we know that 2m, so since 3 to the power of 5 equals 243, that means that 2m minus 1 must be equal to 5. Therefore, 2m must be equal to 6, and m must be equal to 3. And we're done. So let's look at another problem here. We'll go through question 111. Oh no, sorry, we'll look at question 113. Very similar type of problem. So we have 4 to the power of 4x over 4 to the power of x plus 2. And that is equal to 16. Now we know that 4 squared is 16, so we want to simplify this to get some sort of power, and then we know that power is going to be equal to 2. So let's simplify this in the way from before, which gives us 4 to the power of 4x, once again minusing here with those brackets, and that of course is still going to be equal to 16. Simplify here, minus x and then minus 2 again. I'll continue the problem over here. Now we have 4 to the power of 3x minus 2 equals 16. As I said before, that power is going to have to be 2. So that means that 3x minus 2 equals 2, since 4 squared equals 16. And so 3x equals 4. And so x must be 4 over 3.